Good evening, everyone. We are going to start the webinar now. I'd request the participants if they can kindly switch on their videos. I hope I'm audible to all of you now. Thank you. Thank you so much. So good evening, everyone. My name is Zainab Naeem, and I'm looking after the program on ecological sustainability and circular economy at STPI. I greet you all a very warm welcome to this launch event of the report titled as Innovation for Food Security in Afghanistan-Pakistan Trade in Agriculture, Bridging Ideas to Action through Hackathon and Funding Partnerships. Before I begin formally with the introduction and all, I request all of you to kindly keep your videos on and keep your microphones off when you're not speaking, because this event is being live streamed, not just on Zoom, but also on all our social media handles. And the participants who have joined us on Zoom, they can also write their questions in the chat box, and we'll be happy to take their questions after the panelists have shared their point of views. So with this, we are very excited about this report launch event today, because this is one of the projects that STPI conducted in collaboration with the High Commission of Canada under CFLI, and it's a very unique project that we did, especially at times when Pakistan is going through the climate change, the climate crisis, or as I usually say, bearing the brunt of climate breakdown. And floods 2022 was one of the key manifestations. Not just that, but before floods, heat waves, they also affected the food systems in the country. Almost 80% of the crops were affected because of the floods 2022. And apart from that, in our neighboring country, Afghanistan, where the malnutrition is a key problem, and also because the trade linkages have been quite weak between Pakistan and Afghanistan, so the support for the food systems has not been much of any significance between the two countries, and the population as a whole, they are suffering. So with this background, STPI decided to carry out this innovative program with the key partners, and also to address the challenge, we decided to invite ideas and innovation approaches from different individual startups from both Pakistan and Afghanistan in the form of a hackathon. And we are really grateful to the partners for supporting this innovative idea. Without further ado, I would now like to introduce the panelists. We have been joined by Dr. Harun Sawa Awan, Economic Consultant, Ministry of National Food Security and Research, Dr. Samreen Babar, Associate Professor, Bahria University, Islamabad, Ms. Rija Tayyab, Corporate Affairs and Sustainability Manager at Roshan Packages Limited, and Dr. Waqar Ahmed, Joint Executive Director at STPI. So we are really grateful to all the panelists for joining us today for this important report launch event. Before I come to the other panelists for their views and their comments regarding this important project that we did, I would like to request Dr. Waqar Ahmed to please share a presentation with us to highlight the key findings of this project and also the report that we are launching today. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Zainab, and let me join you in thanking our very esteemed panelists who are here with us, including Dr. Harun Sarwar, Dr. Samreen, Ms. Rija Tayyab, and Asif Javed. I think all of these colleagues, at least most of them, and I can see some who have joined us on the online live streaming as well, have been a part of some of the activities that have taken place under this project at STPI. So I think they may have some know-how, but I'd really like to focus the next couple of minutes on our learning from this project on around regional trade in agriculture. For the promotion of that agriculture, the ideation and putting those ideas to action through the hackathon exercise, which we have conducted. So I'm hoping that you can see my slides. So let me quickly jump to the background for those who may not have known about this project. As Zainab rightly introduced, we partnered with our colleagues from the Canadian government, as well as some of the local organizations, Ministry of Food Security, provincial agriculture and food departments, really to look into the emergent conditions in the backdrop of climate emergencies here. We do understand that floods in at least 2/3 of the country have become a recurrent phenomenon. And due to that, of course, the loss that our crop sector faces directly impacts inflation as well, particularly food price inflation. Now, one of the ways that inflation can be helped, or the productivity in agriculture can be helped, is through regional trade. And in this case, or at least under this project, we were specifically looking at Pakistan's trade with the region. And we looked at the case of Afghanistan, given that during the past flood, both countries had been hard hit by the impact of flood. But due to the seasonal variation, they were able to trade with each other in agriculture, mitigating some of the price and inflation impact that would have been much more harsher. In terms of the project description, of course, the project goes beyond just the needs of agriculture and food sector. It also looks at the nutritional needs of the population, food production systems, as well as we were able to deliberate on the access of food across the marginalized communities. We had a team that participated in the COP meeting in UAE, who also carried forward some learnings from this project. Our approach has been three-pronged, in which, of course, Dr. Haroon Sarwar will recall that we did some extensive consultations with the public sector. Apart from the ministry that he is representing, our partners at Ministry of Climate Change were also instrumental in their advice to take forward this project. And then, of course, we had partners from the private sector. Some of them also joined us during the hackathon, and then after the hackathon at the Expo, which took place along with the Sustainable Development Conference, in which my colleague Zainab and Ms. Rija Tayyab also joined this activity. The implementation strategy for this project, as well as the outputs that move forward with your help, of course, include extensive outreach of the learning which has come about, both for us as well as the federal government. And then, of course, building partnerships so that those whose ideas have been selected under this project end up meeting the right kind of investors to take forward their hackathon ideas which had matured during the November meeting. Now, for the ideation exercise and, of course, to connect our hackathon winners with the potential partners, we had been joined by the NICs in Peshawar, Quetta, Faisalabad. Then academia also joined us from the Faisalabad Agriculture University, Sargota, and our hosts were the NASTEP in Rawalpindi, as well as some mentorship which was provided to our teams by TIE Islamabad. Of course, several of my colleagues from STPI also acted as mentors in this project. Three of our large, I'd say, agriculture sector firms and attendees who have been able to cement some B2B linkages with the startups or the teams that join, include PepsiCo, Cargill, USEC, who are all international names, and they have been part of this project, they've been part of the judging process, and as of today as well, they continue to guide those teams on both sides, in Afghanistan as well as in Pakistan. We also, of course, had a very rigorous pre-hackathon activity, which has allowed us to really put in place an extensive database of agriculture sector startups and teams, which we aim to deliver to the Ministry of Food Security as well as the provincial agriculture departments, so that if some policy support is required to these teams, there can be a two-way communication. These teams can, of course, contact the relevant departments of the ministry, but then ministry will also have this database where, for example, for certain innovation in the agri space, the ministry can then directly approach those innovators in this field. In terms of our screening, of course, we had a total of 146 applications which had been received. We would have, of course, liked to have more, and something which we will aim for during this year. But we felt that outreach could be improved through our academia partners, which we'll continue to pursue this year. Now, we also, one part of the learning, of course, for these teams, as they have informed us through a feedback mechanism, is that the benefits that they have accrued were four-pronged. Of course, the networking opportunities come first, but there was also this learning and skill enhancement part, given that there was a matchmaking process and participants were allowed to link up with the teams in very large firm representatives such as PepsiCo, Cargill, USEC, Nestle. There was visibility and exposure of their work, not just through STPI social media platforms, but also through the platforms of these large agriculture sector firms as well. With this, we are, of course, encouraged to note that successful participation of teams got the opportunity to meet up with potential investors. So, for example, the top three teams, Natural Fiber Company, 4Engineers, they were awarded not just the seed money, but also they are now developing their ideas with USEC and Cargill going forward. We also, of course, were particular about the divide when it comes to agriculture sector R&D. So there was a particular focus on the gender aspects here, and women researchers working on food security were consulted, and the idea of hackathon to address some of our critical problems was discussed with them. Their concept notes were fine-tuned before they came in front of the potential investors to present their ideas. The key takeaway from the hackathon can be grouped into maybe 6 main areas. While, of course, we were able to bring together diverse experts, we hope that there'll be more regional representation this time around when we host it, particularly from Afghanistan. Networking of startups, we noticed that it was well received in the first-tier cities, but more needs to be done for the second and third-tier cities. Startups got an opportunity to enhance their visibility and impact, something which we will continue to do more this year through our social media platforms. Participants gained improved knowledge and skills in food security and agricultural trade space. This is where University of Agriculture, Faisalabad will be refining their ideas, for example, in the GM space. And then finally, the awareness of the importance of food security and the policy reforms that are required for food security were also discussed. Of course, we couldn't have a large number of ideas around what could be the tweaks that could be made at federal or provincial policies, but that is something that we'll continue to do with our in-house faculty at STPI. We really hope that with the help of Ministry, Hackathon becomes a flagship event, which the government of Pakistan, STPI, and partners continue to host every year. Uh, they were select 3 or 4 themes this time around under food and agriculture. We hope that more sub-themes can be added in the next hackathon. And then, of course, we plan that some of these findings and insights can be shared with agriculture universities, not just inside Pakistan, but in the region as well. And some strategic partnerships can be built going forward. We realize that some of the civil service colleagues who joined, they requested for niche capacity building in this area, something which SCPI, Center for Learning and Development, will continue to do in the coming days. So thank you very much, and back to you, Zen.
Thank you very much, Dr. Waqar, for sharing the key findings from the entire program that we conducted. And also, it is of great significance that STPI particularly gave prominence to the women-led startups because as gender and food system sustainability, they are very much intertwined, and it is not possible if we do not ensure gender inclusivity, if we want to achieve food system sustainability in Pakistan, Afghanistan, and even throughout the region. So now with this, I would now like to move towards Dr. Haroon Sarwar Awan for his remarks on the overall project and how do you see the future of these kind of programs, especially hackathon, whether it's on food systems or food security or any other aspect of agriculture. If we keep on doing this in future, if this is going to be an innovative approach, so how do you see government supporting these sort of ideas, and how do you see these sort of ideas feeding into the policy process of the government? Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Ms. Zainab. And thank you, SDPI, that they have involved Ministry of National Food Security and Research throughout the process. And I was part of this process, pre-hackathon discussions. Dr. Waqar and Dr. Abid were kind enough to visit Ministry of National Food Security, and they shared this idea and the program for the proposed hackathon. Then I was at the hackathon venue at the time of hackathon, and there I found this very exciting that young entrepreneurs and young startups were showcasing their knowledge and their ideas over there in the hackathon. And there was significant presence of female participants as well. And the panel discussion, the quality of panel discussion and the ideas that came, that was very fascinating. And the innovative approach and the innovative ideas shared at the hackathon and the allied events that were going side by side, these were very informative and very sort of practical ideas that can solve food security problems in the Pakistan and in the region as well as. It was also exciting that people from Afghanistan, a few startups from Afghanistan were also present in the hackathon. And the information that Dr. Waqar in his presentation has shared, that there were 23 applicants from Balochistan province. It is also very heartening that people from Balochistan are participating in such events. And when we analyze different provincial participation at different events, the participation from Balochistan is not such dominant as it was in this hackathon. So I am unaware of the results that who were awarded, but even the presence of 23 startups from Balochistan, it was very good sign for the future of Pakistan and future of food security. So this sort of events and this program, even the collaboration of SDPI and Ministry of National Food Security is increasing and is strengthening day by day. And as I was myself part of this exercise and this project, I have witnessed myself that this collaboration can deliver for the people of Pakistan in the future as well. So it was very beneficial collaboration between ministry and SDPI. And I thank administration of SDPI for such a ventures, and I hope that in future as well uh, such type of hackathons and such type of research collaboration will move forward. And one important thing that I want to emphasize, and also I emphasize that for the key message for startups over there in the hackathon and panel discussion, that the problem that agriculture sector is facing currently, the most pressing need is financing for the small farmers. That small farmers are not bankable. So innovative ideas to finance small holding farmers and the landless farmers as well, as because most of the farming community members are landless farmers. So such type of innovative ideas so that we can arrange finances for smallholder farmers that can serve multiple goals. They can be more productive farmers. They can be they can be instrumental in alleviating poverty, and they can contribute towards the growth. So for the future research and future collaboration and hackathons, I will suggest this theme for the SDPI. And thank you very much for inviting me for this event. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Harun Sarwar, and thank you for proposing the idea for the future hackathons. And yes, it's a very one of the pertinent challenges that we are facing in Pakistan, that is the financing for small farmers. However, I think during hackathon, that's what we try to do at SDPI. We try to connect the startups by inviting not just the public sector as Ministry of Climate Change, Ministry of Food Security, but the key partners, but also the industrialists there as well. So they get connected with those startups, because scalability is one of the key challenges that they face. And this is what we are trying to do to bridge that gap that is existing at the moment. So with this, I'll also share the details about who won the hackathon prizes and what were the ideas about after I take the other panelists. So, Rija, I would like you to share your views in this perspective, being a representative of the industry and being a representative of a packaging industry, and definitely your industry is very much connected with the food systems chain and all. How do you see the innovation, the innovative approaches, how much they are needed, and how do you see industry supporting these kind of ideas in the country to, because I know Roche Packages is one of our key domestic industries in Pakistan, and you know the local industry that we have, and we are really proud of that. So how do you see the industry taking the startups for the scalability, supporting them for the innovative approaches, and what can Roche Packages do in this perspective? Over to you.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, Zainab, and I hope everyone can hear me properly. Yeah, so I mean, generally, I was just thinking about how, I mean, I was at the expo, so then we got to, you know, talk to the winners as well. And I mean, you'll go into details, but it was about using banana trees, I believe, to make papers. And for me, even that was such a new concept. And, you know, industry can only do so much. Like, we have the lab, but, you know, we have older researchers and older people in the industry. So I myself, I'm everywhere I go, I'm pretty much the youngest on the table. And I think that even that perspective is really missing from our industry, right? So what are young people like? So the older people have already thought things, I think, through. Their systems are already in place, but what can Gen Z, millennials even, what are we thinking about, and how are we thinking about climate? Because we are the ones who are going to face it in the years coming forward. So I know that like climate anxiety is a huge thing that our generation deals with. So I think that we have a bigger stake to get bigger, more solutions and sort of more ideas because we have this larger stake. In terms of what we can do, I mean, we're always willing to, have these public-private partnerships, but also B, sort of share resources and share data with startups. So I've been in talks. We've actually at our own level, we've been helping sort of BNU students. They have a class. They take they do architecture sort of stuff with that, and they've been able to make this furniture that's sustainable, for example. But I do think in Pakistan we don't have those particular linkages जो हमारे होने चाहिए. जो I've seen because I studied abroad, जो बाहर हैं. So like the minute they see a good idea, they're able to pick it up and sort of have that system. So I am trying to create that system where if I see an idea, how do I sort of pick that up and incubate them and help them become scalable and also good for us? Because, and here's the business part of it, right? For us, it's not like हम charity कर रहे हैं. It's because it's the need of the hour. Everywhere in the world, for example, plastic solution, everywhere, everyone is looking for it. Recycling solution, everyone is looking for it. So over here, we are all at the same level. So an Ivy League grad can come up with the same idea that someone here can, and probably someone in Pakistan can come up with a better idea than someone who doesn't even know the realities of climate change, the realities of agriculture. So in that sense, I think there's so much potential, and we saw with the help of SDPI so much potential with our students, and I was able to talk to a few professors as well at the conference, and they have been doing amazing research as well. So I think basically yahi masla ho raha hai wherever we go, because the government then asks us for, I think maybe we're all doing bilaterally, we're all talking, and then only very rarely are we all on the same table where academia, government, MNCs, and then like local players are on the same government. We were like, this is when you guys did the roundtable on packaging, that was one of the few instances where we had all key players together. But it's because, like, it's very hard to deal with everyone separately. So I think there's definitely a need for that, to everyone come together and sort of figure out kya my priorities kya hai. So whether that's the government setting the priorities or the MNC setting the priorities, we need to figure out what our bigger problems are, and then what the solutions are, so that we can, put all of our resources and our time into one solution.
Thank you very much, Rija. And yes, you have been working a lot on connecting the startups and ideas with the right people. I do remember you connected me with one of the startups who was working on, I think, agri-tech related data. So thank you for that. Yes. So also regarding the winning team, you very rightly pointed out that Banana Fibers, so the natural fiber company, was one of the winning team, and then 4 engineers and Bhan. So I think Bhan is working on eco-friendly fertilizers, and also the agri-tech 4 engineers, they're working around agri-tech. So I think since Roshan Packages, you all are working on sustainable packaging. So I think there's a lot of scope that, you get some innovative ideas from the startups who were part of the hackathon, and maybe they can provide you with some innovative and, cost-effective solutions for improving the packaging and all. So I think you being here today is some sort of a promise, maybe I can say that, with the industry, from the industry side, with the think tank, and with the startups, and with the representative of the startups who have joined us online, that you're here to support them for the scalability, and you're here to support the ideas that they would like to pitch with you maybe someday. I think Faraz is here with us, who's one of the winning team members. So I would like to connect them with you as well, to sit together, have a debate around it, how scalability is possible, and maybe we can get connected for another hackathon by the end of this year. So thank you. I'll again be coming to you for a one-liner recommendation in the end, how we can achieve food security and improve the food systems. So before that, I would like to take Dr. Samreen Babar as our next panelist. Dr. Samreen, you have played an instrumental role during this hackathon event by providing us with the participants, and also by connecting us with the academia and ideas coming in from those students who were part of the selected teams for the startup, for this hackathon. They were very brilliant. So how do you see this initiative of STPI? Do you see this as a bridge that can get connected with the academia, the industry, and the public policy makers? And how do you, what key challenges do you still see in terms of the scalability of the ideas that are very innovative indeed, but still face challenge when it comes to the scalability and implementation? Over to you.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you so very much for inviting me in today's session, and I really enjoyed that. It was really a wonderful session when we were the part of that hackathon, and I was the one. I prepared a lot of themes of my when the ad came from the STPI that they are going to announce a kind of hackathon. So I've started preparing my students for it. So the students came up with brilliant ideas, almost like I have told almost 3 sections of my classes. So I think around about 27 groups participated in it. And out of those 27, 2 got selected over there till the final end of the session or final activity. So what happened to the rest of the what I think is at the constraint that I find in it was the time that we didn't have enough time to prepare the students, although it was really nice initiative and most of the students were really excited to join and to participate in it. And because of that specific time constraint, they were not able to meet that time and they were not able to present their project properly as they wanted to. But anyhow, the 2 groups that went till the end, they were really excited and they were really happy to join it because they got the advice they get from the mentors that you have arranged and from the industries that you have linked at that panel and at that event. It was really wonderful. And they were the one who were at the, so what I've done at the end, after they have delivered, after they have presented their concept at the hackathon, so when they came back to the university, so in the class, I've made them to present their project in front of the students. That was the very was very wonderful idea, and that was the very nice part of it because the other students also get inspired from it. So my commitment was that let they groom and let they innovate something to in order to cope with different challenges such as food security or any other national and international challenges. So one other thing I've seen over there is that although I have groomed them till my level, whatever I know, so I've groomed them accordingly. So if we have a little bit more time so that we can groom those students properly, that was one of the challenge. And the other thing that if we can assign the mentors to those groups at the earlier time before in the selection process, but at the very beginning of that specific event, as they mentor, if there will be a proper mentor or the industries that the one they want to collab, if they are there, so their expertise will also come in that specific project. Just as one of my students' project was on that organic composite, that was really a wonderful project, and they were actually working on it from the last 6 months. But their problem was that they were not able to get some sort of a collab with them. And they didn't know it actually. Obviously, the student didn't know what to do and how this can be done. That was also kind of a learning for them. So if those type of mentors or organizations that are be available for those students quite ahead of the hackathon, then it will be very easy for them to pick that specific organization, find some sort of expert over there, and then they can collaborate and they'll be able to come with a wonderful new ideas and with wonderful solutions. So it was really a nice effort by STPI, and I hope STPI will also do more efforts like those in future, and we will definitely be happy to bring our students in that specific area, in those specific events, so that they can learn a lot from it. And obviously, it was also kind of a temptation from them to work more and more and to sort those challenges. The last thing that I will also identify over here, that if the problems that actual Pakistan is facing, or if we have like Pakistan-Afghanistan trade, if specific problems be identified, then the student will come with a specific solution. Just as one of our panelists have suggested that we have financial problems for the farmers, that they are not adequate finances for them and they are not able to do it. So if this type of a one-liner or two-liner statement is there, so we Mediation will be in a better position to come up with a solid productive solution, instead of the students are like thinking of their own and they think, okay, this is the problem, so let's make some sort of innovative solution for it. And at the end, that problem is not the actual problem that we want to address. So it will be better if that specific problem is highlighted, and then we'll be able to groom those students along with the key players such as government MNCs, and then we can come up with a very long-lasting solution. So the student enjoyed it. We have like more talented and much talented students. So we can make their contribution, and we can utilize their energies, and we can come up with a very nice innovative solution. So I'll end up with my discussion with just one liner. एक शेर इकबाल के इलामा इकबाल के शेर से मैं डिस्कशन अपनी आई करूंगी. नहीं है नाउमीद इकबाल अपनी गश्ते वीरां से, जरा नम हो तो ये मिट्टी बहुत सरखेज है साथी. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Samreen, and especially for on a very positive note. Also regarding again the financing for small-scale farmers and also scalability of the startups. I think climate risk insurance schemes is something that we all need to collectively work on, and especially start considering the climate risk insurance in all the decision making, whether it's the industry, whether it's the public sector policymakers. I think without climate risk insurance, improving the overall situation of this of the food systems becomes indeed quite challenging. So, and thank you for again supporting the initiative of the hackathon at STPI. With this, I would now like to move towards Dr. Harun Sarwar. I do know you have proposed one of the key topics that we can integrate as part of the next hackathon that we may conduct this year. So, but apart from that, what in one liner, how can we resolve this issue of food systems, that is around food systems, in whether it's in terms of trade, whether it's in terms of sustainability in both Pakistan and Afghanistan? How do you see the solution? Over to you, sir.
Thank you. The trade specifically in terms of Pakistan and Afghanistan, there are a lot of political and strategic barriers that are obstructing this trade. In terms of economic numbers, and in terms of price differential, and in terms of even the organic or natural crop calendars, we are bound to trade, both Pakistan and Afghanistan, because if I look at the food security portal in front of my screen, it shows that currently there is 50 rupees per kg difference, price differential between Pakistan and Afghanistan in the price of onion. Similarly, more than 70 rupees per kg potato is cheap in Pakistan, and is as Punjab is producing 97% of Pakistan's potato production. So it is currently abundantly available in Pakistan, while in Afghanistan, almost the price differential is 75 rupees, more than 75 rupees per kg. Price differential is between Pakistan and Afghanistan. I am comparing Islamabad and Kabul prices. So there is natural appetite for trade between the two countries. But as you must have witnessed in a week earlier, there was a deadlock of 10 days when the transport vehicles were held at Torkham border. So there are some political and some you can say strategic barriers that need to be resolved in order to promote the bilateral trade between Pakistan and Afghanistan. And even I believe that we have not properly justified the trade between the two countries, and the research and this sort of research collaborations can highlight the importance of this trade, because when you look at the crop cycle of even just 3 crops, potato, onion, tomato, pots, you can see that there are four different time periods in Punjab, KPK, Balochistan, and even GB. When we get these, we have different time periods when we receive the harvest from these distinct areas. But we having gifted by such diverse climate that we keep on receiving throughout the year, there is a slack period even this whole year, one slack period when we are dependent on either Afghanistan or Iran or both, that we import these pots from these two countries in order to maintain food security, access aspect of affordability aspect of food security for the people of Pakistan. Same is the case with Afghanistan, that Afghanistan is heavily dependent upon Pakistan to ensure food security of its people. So there is natural appetite on both sides that we have to indulge in trade, and irrespective of these barriers, we should indulge in trade, because economic compulsions and food security compulsions are more pronounced than the political barriers. So this sort of all non-tariff barriers should be eliminated, and it is in the greater interest of the both people of both countries that we should indulge in this bilateral trade. And what SDPI can do for next hackathon or for the research collaboration and improving the trade between Pakistan and Afghanistan, it is the evidence, data and evidence that can make the policy making circles compel at both sides of the border to indulge in trade, to secure the to ensure food security of the two countries, people of two countries. So SDPI and Ministry of National Food Security can promote research collaboration in terms of providing the data for policy making circles, so that this case of bilateral trade can be more emphasized for the policy making circles. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Haroon, and you have very aptly put the key challenges that we are facing in terms of trade between the two countries, and also you have suggested how the ministry can play its important role in bridging the gap that is there regarding data. And this food security dashboard is one of the very successful dashboard. I believe SDPI is also one of the contributors to the first phase of the dashboard, and now this dashboard is going to contribute towards the data logging and data collection from very local level, and it can help us to improve the food systems in the country. So thank you very much for your contribution. So Rija, one last point from you. Do you any plans of RPL in terms of supporting the climate action for the food systems in Pakistan? Because this is this system, the agri system in Pakistan is basically the backbone of all the industries, whether it's packaging, whether it's the FMCG or any other industry. So how do you see RPL playing its role, not if this year, but in the next 5 years? What are the plans?
I mean, a lot of plans, and I would love to, be a part of however it's happening. Abhi, we were at FPCCI and we were talking about, how do you increase the exports? And again and again, we were talking about agriculture being the export backbone of Pakistan. So whether it's rice, whether it's even corn is something that came up. So we did have coal supply chains. हमने orange की set up CVC in Sargodha. So stuff like that, we're always willing to look into with supply chain. Obviously, when you're trying to improve the supply chain, is how we believe it can become better. उसमें फिर data भी आ जाता है, उसमें फिर packaging भी आ जाती है. So I think starting with the supply chain and sort of trying to see what challenges come from there is something we're very interested in doing, because our crops are really good. Even the yield for corn, for example, is really good. It's just about seeing how we can get it to the people. And then usme, and now that I remember, it's also branding is also a huge thing that I've seen that we aren't doing, that our neighboring countries are able to do, and even brand our products as theirs. As Himalayan sea salt, Himalayan salt mein dekha hai, that's our product that we should have been able to brand. Basmati rice is something we should have been able to brand. So I mean, we're willing to help in whether it's supply chain issues, whether it's data, whether it's funding, whether it's research. We are always here to help.
Thank you. So overall, any suggestion from your side regarding improving the food systems? What can be done about it?
हमें data चाहिए. I mean, basically, we would love to know where the growers are, who the decision makers are. So now, recently when I was working on the data, I was able to then find the farmers, but then I found out that they're not the ones making the decision for the packaging. So वो आरती आके ले रहे हैं. Then it's like, how do you find the RCs, and then how do you convince the RCs? So मुझे, like, for me myself, like, that was the main issue, is कि वो data जो है और फिर उसके जो अगला स्टेप है, फिर आप आर्टिस्ट को ढूंढो जाके. So that's where we would love कि कोई आके हमें solution दे दे और हम फिर जाके अपना.
So Dr. Haroon भी यहाँ है. I think Dr. Haroon, industry का perspective आपने सुना है. Data में बहुत issue आ रहा है, especially the packaging industry. So I think this is the right time, and industry gets connected with the Ministry of National Food Security and Research as well, and also how they have developed this food system dashboard. This data integration, it has a very important role. So I think this is a bridge that we are trying to develop as STPI between industry, the public sectors, and the academia. And thank you for highlighting the challenge. And we are really glad that we have Dr. Haroon here with us, who would be more than happy to support the industry, and he's already doing that. So thank you for that, Rija. I think we have a question from in the chat box. What innovative strategies can Pakistan implement to enhance agricultural productivity and ensure food security, while also facilitating regional trade amidst the challenges of climate change and population growth? Well, I think that's too many questions in one question. I think Dr. Haroon has already pointed out the challenges of trade in Afghanistan and Pakistan, and also what needs to be done. So regarding the overall food security challenges, if Dr. Samreen, you would like to answer that. And also Muhammad Faraz, he's one of the winners of the hackathon. I would like you to contribute to this overall discussion regarding sharing your experience on how did you find this hackathon of STPI, and what are your future plans. So before you, Dr. Samreen, if you can answer the question in terms of how we can address the issue of food security and facilitate regional trade amidst the challenges of climate change and population growth.
Okay, so with all this wonderful discussion and all these points, and when people were saying about Roshan Pakistan representing saying about data. Then when we were preparing our kits, so one of the team came up with the idea of designing an app, a trade app. So what they have done, they have made a kind of, they were planning to launch an app in which, and that will definitely be with the help of the ministry, that if one type of an app is designed and people normally log in or register, the partners will register to that specific app, and in which we can have the data of the businessman that he wants to trade in any site, any specific type of business. So by designing that type of app, or the legal barriers and the barriers that we are currently having with the trade, the data barrier, the legal issues, everything will be resolved with that specific app. And the advantage of it will be it will be more legal, and no one can be able to like sneak out of that specific legal barrier. So because the biggest issue that we have highlighted along with my student is smuggling with the borders, because we have a huge border with Afghanistan and people can easily sneak in from any side. So if government can establish some strong policies, and by the use of that specific app, we will be able to monitor all the trade that is there, and we will also see if where we are in excess and we don't need that specific trade, so the government can stop it. So like making a certain type of an app can be a very wonderful idea, and because of this we can resolve most of the challenges to it. And the data issue, every issue I think can be resolved through it. That can be one of the wonderful solutions that came up by the students.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Samreen. So we have with us one of the winners of the hackathon, Faraz. If you can please unmute and share your experience and what your startup is doing to address food systems in Pakistan, challenges around food systems in Pakistan. Over to you.
Assalamu alaikum. First of all, I would like to thank the team of SDPI for giving me a chance to elaborate my startup and to give me some suggestions that how will we increase the food security of Pakistan and both countries in Afghanistan and Pakistan. First of all, our company, the National Fiber Company, is basically using the waste materials, the waste of banana stems. We all know that banana tree can only give fruit once in his life, na? And after the harvest of the fruit, the whole trunk of banana plant is wasted. So we researched and developed and found a great treasure in the form of the fibers and in the form of a liquid organic fertilizer. And then the third material is the liquid organic mulch. So when we do some research on these fibers, so we are very amazed to know that these fibers has a lot of properties, and it's quite better than cotton according to its age, its strength, and its stiffness. And Alhamdulillah, now we're working with the Pakistan big textile industries, including Interloop and Sapphire and Zaman, the 3 textile industries. And Alhamdulillah, we have our 4 plants. Number 1, we have this plant in Sakkar, Lasbela, and Thatta, and all these places. But the problem is that people are unaware how much potentials and how much benefits in our land has. And the thing is, because the industry and all the industries were working separately, the people are unaware what kind of the thing we have. हमारे पास इतना ज़रख़ीज़ ज़मीन है, लेकिन हमारे पास उस तरह की जो ना लोगों के अंदर वो पोटेंशियल नहीं है कि वो परचेज कर सके, ठीक है ना? लोगों को अवेयरनेस नहीं है या वो एजुकेट नहीं करते. हमने जो नेचुरल फाइबर्स लॉन्च किए, तो दे आर द इंडस्ट्रीज आर वो बहुत झिझक थी उनमें कि यार ये जो फाइबर लॉन्च किया है, ये क्या पूरा कर पाएगा डिमांड को? नहीं. तो एज अ नेचुरल फाइबर कंपनी ने खुद अपने जो ना इन्वेस्टमेंट डाल के और अपनी रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूट करके जब वो फाइबर लेके आई डिमांड में, देन टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्रीज की तरफ से डिमांड आ गई. तो अभी सुबह भी हमारी मीटिंग जो है ना हो रही थी HSC वालों के साथ, और इन द फ्यूचर जब उन्होंने ITC ने देखा कि इतना बड़ा सेक्टर डेवलप हो सकता है, तो वी आर अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह वन ऑफ देम टू सपोर्ट द ITC because they are developing the whole banana sector in Pakistan, especially for the Sindh government. कि जो कि सिंध की पाकिस्तान की जो केले की जो फसल है वो ज्यादातर सिंध में, so there must be a whole setup for the banana fibers, because banana fibers ना के सिर्फ जो है ना आपके टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्रीज की डिमांड पूरी कर रहा है, बल्कि वो एक स्टेपल फूड भी दे रहा है। पाकिस्तान अल्हम्दुलिल्लाह इन 10 सालों में 23rd लार्जेस्ट कंट्री रहा है बनाना सेलिंग का। लेकिन जो लास्ट ईयर जो 2 साल के फ्लड्स आए हैं उसने इतना केले की फसल को खराब किया, तो देयर इज लॉट ऑफ पोटेंशियल के फार्मर्स को जो है ना उनकी बीज लगाने तक भी उनके पास पैसे नहीं थे। सो एक सिंध गवर्नमेंट या जो भी पाकिस्तानी गवर्नमेंट है या फूड सिक्योरिटी गवर्नमेंट है, देयर मस्ट बी उनका भी इनिशिएटिव होना चाहिए कि यार लोकल फार्मर्स को, लोकल कम्युनिटी को इतना सपोर्ट किया जाए कि दे कैन ग्रो फार्म बनाना, ठीक है ना, ताकि केला पाकिस्तान में लगे। और अब चूंकि केले के उसके जो स्टेम्स हैं उसके बेस से भी चूंकि चीजें बन रही है, तो देयर इज मच मोर पोटेंशियल फॉर द टेक्सटाइल इंडस्ट्री एज वेल एंड फॉर द फूड इंडस्ट्री एज वेल। और फिर ना कि वो सिर्फ आपको यान की सूरत में और जो है ना स्टेपल फूड की सूरत में, बल्कि जो उसके अंदर एक जो लिक्विड अल्लाह ताला ने ऑर्गेनिक जो पानी रखा है जिसको लिक्विड फर्टिलाइजर कहते हैं, उसके अंदर पोटाशियम और मैग्नीशियम एनपीके वो तमाम तत्व पूरी है। हमने जब टेस्ट कराया लाहौर में लोकल फॉर्म्स में टेस्ट करवाया, उनको चलाया, बनु मुख्तार जैसा इतना अच्छा फॉर्म जो लहसुन और उसकी पैदावार करता है, तो दे आर वेरी मच इंटरेस्टेड अबाउट द ऑर्गेनिक मल्च एंड ऑर्गेनिक लिक्विड फर्टिलाइजर। तो हम चाहते हैं कि पाकिस्तान की भी जो ज़रख़ीज़ ज़मीन है, तो ऑर्गेनिक मटेरियल्स जो ऑर्गेनिक फर्टिलाइजर है यहाँ से इम्पोर्ट होके किसी और मुल्क में जाए, तो उसकी फसलें यहाँ लगे, और जो है ना, और इस तरह की इवेंट्स होता है कि लोगों को पता लगे कि यार ये चीज़ें मौजूद हैं। लास्ट टाइम SDPI ने जो हैकाथॉन कराया तो उसमें हमारे बहुत सारे कनेक्शंस बने। सो इस तरह के हैकाथॉन्स और इस तरह के एक्सपोज खासतौर पे होने चाहिए। लास्ट टाइम हमारा PATDC जो कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई है अफ्रीका में, इजिप्ट में, तो उसमें भी हम लोग थे और वहां पर भी लोग अमेज थे कि यार ये इतना अच्छा स्टार्टअप। सो बात दरअसल ये है कि पाकिस्तान के अंदर वो पोटेंशियल्स है, पाकिस्तान स्टार्टअप के अंदर वो पोटेंशियल है कि वो तमाम यूरोप और यूएसए की इंडस्ट्री जो सस्टेनेबल की मांग कर रही है कि हमें सस्टेनेबल फाइबर ला के दो, सस्टेनेबल गारमेंट्स ला के दो, सस्टेनेबल फूड, ऑर्गेनिक फूड, तो वो
Highlight
तमाम
your
चीजें।
and thank you so much for sharing this important recommendations that you have just proposed regarding how Pakistan can work around improving the overall food systems. और आपका तो startup ही food system circularity की तरफ काम कर रहा है, which is indeed a great initiative, and congratulations once again for winning this initiative and this hackathon that SDPI conducted. And regarding awareness, yes, awareness is still a key challenge, but I'm sure Dr. Haroon is here, Rija is here, Dr. Sameen is here, academia, industry, public sector, and then SDPI, and also people like you will continue to engage all of you for the awareness raising around food system circularity and how climate change impacts can be mitigated and how the system can be improved, whether it's in Pakistan or Afghanistan or in the region as a whole. So I think this seminar has been a very engaging and a very informative seminar for all of us here, learning about the key challenges that academia is facing, that industry is facing, and also that startups like yours is facing, and what needs to be done in this regard, and how Ministry of National Food Security is there to provide you the support in terms of research and also in terms of connecting all the stakeholders. SDPI is trying to bridge the gap. So thank you once again, all of you, for joining us today for this important innovative project report launch. And it will soon be available online, and we'll be sharing the findings again on our social media with all of you. So thank you so much once again. Have a good evening. Take care.
Thank you. Allah Hafiz.